Nothing good.
Thank you. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for having us. I hope you're feeling really good after lunch and not too sleepy. And I promise to try and keep the energy high so we stay awake here together. I'm Ulrich Soderstrom. I'm one of the co-founders with Benchmark Labs. We provide point-specific weather forecasting to help farmers save resources and protect their yields, most importantly. Kicking things right off, I want you to meet our customer. This is Jason Cole. He's a ranch manager. He has a lot of issues due to weather. His excessive fertilizer use, so it'll rain and then the wind will blow unexpectedly. All that fertilizer and pesticide will blow sometimes into the neighbor's field. It's very problematic. A lot of water wastage as well. They basically turn their sprinklers on right before it's going to rain. And most maybe importantly to this region, there's a lot of yield loss. So I spoke to vineyard managers here in the region that at 80 to 90% yield loss due to frost events. And these were unpredicted. Your youngest vines can die in under an hour to these frost events. You have to take mitigation techniques. So why is this happening? Well, the weather data we're receiving today is too coarse to really serve specialty crops. We've been doing weather forecasting the same way for the last 80 years. We divide the world into little boxes like on a Rubik's Cube, and everyone in each box gets exactly the same weather forecast. These could be 6,000 acres in size, like the new Google Graph model that came out just last year. Everyone in that box gets exactly the same temperature forecast, and that's fine for you and I if we want to know if it's going to be 80 degrees here in Ithaca, which is wonderful and also terrifying. But it works really poorly if you're the manager of a fixed asset or a very weather-sensitive crop. Meanwhile, to deal with this, farmers are purchasing their own privately owned weather stations and installing them in their field. These weather stations get current state data and backwards-looking data. And this is where Benchmark Labs comes in. We provide point-specific forecasts for each individual weather station. In doing so, we reduce the error up to 85% compared to the National Weather Service. We also have a number of innovative variables and indices, including evapotranspiration, which precipitation's water in, evapotranspiration's water out. It's the other half of the water balance equation. We think about powdery mildew index and disease models. These are pests and diseases that cause a lot of crop loss. We think about things like growing degree days, frost indices, and more, like drought indexes, that all lead to actionable insights, allow farmers to save resources, reduce pesticides and fertilizers, and improve yield. So if I'm a vineyard manager here and I see that 80, 90% yield loss, I want to deploy frost fans, I want to light kerosene torches, I want to spray foam over the berries. They'll even fly helicopters over the field to turn the air, which will tell you about their willingness to pay. But you need to know when to take these actions and what actions are necessary. With our technology, we've been able to solve this coarse weather problem. So Jason Cole went publicly to ABC News 7 and talked about 50% to 100% yield increase and yield protection, which we were really excited to see. So how do we do this? Well, we ingest data from the National Weather Service and other large-scale gridded forecasters. So this is like IBM's The Weather Company, AccuWeather, and the like. We take in data from third-party hardware IoT sensors. This is important. We're not a hardware company. We're a software company. We provide the forecasts. We tune the large-scale forecasts to the specific point of that sensor using our patented algorithms and technologies. We release all this information via SaaS dashboards, APIs, and mobile devices. This is an enormous global opportunity. Weather touches everything. In energy, fire, ag insurance is something we've seen a lot. And this larger weather and climate market is a $306 billion opportunity. We're specifically focused in agriculture and specialty crops. So there's 22 million IoT weather stations deployed globally in agricultural lands already today from hardware companies. There's a 17.5 CAGR growth in that. So in 5 years, it's 50 million sensors. At our current pricing, that's a $44 billion opportunity that we're targeting a specific subset of in specialty crops in this region, where I'm born and raised, as well as in California, where there's many specialty crop growers for a $4 billion opportunity. So incumbent weather companies today have been producing these coarse, gridded models. They rely on ad revenue from what we call the two-penny market. So it's you going on as a consumer, looking at an ad and clicking on their dashboard online. And they also use outdated public data sources. So in New York State, you rely on the Mesonet, which is 120 weather stations. It's excellent. It's one of the most highly instrumented places in the world. But that's a weather station every 500 square miles. In reality, there's tens of thousands of privately owned weather stations in New York that aren't part of this system. Tapping into these allows Benchmark Labs to provide truly hyperlocal forecasting. We have an experienced team in specialty crops and climate. It's been doing this for decades. And we're a hardware agnostic SaaS solution, and that's very important here. This allows us some really nice go-to-market strategies. So we bundle our forecasts with the hardware companies that are already selling their hardware. This allows us to be, one, hardware agnostic, reach all 22 million of those sensors, and be a scalable SaaS solution. We do not have engineers that go to the field to manage the stations. Hardware companies already do that. They built those relationships. They're experts in upkeeping. My co-founder and I actually met at a hardware company creating IoT weather stations. It doesn't work. This also allows us to land and expand with high-value land managers like the Nature Conservancy. They have 1,300 preserves globally, and we can land and expand with them, continue to grow. This allows us to avoid going direct to grower, which is a famous way to fail in agriculture, and a very difficult way to expand. A very exciting development for us is we've signed agreements, MOUs, LOIs, sales agreements with 80% of the IoT weather station market. We've launched pilots and early customers with these folks that have been standing for over a year, shown them the performance, and done the integration with over 14 different hardware companies. This is a really big deal and a really big moat for us in some of these relationships and technical aspects. We've also landed and expanded with high-value land managers like the Nature Conservancy. After Techstars, we worked with 2 of their preserves. Now we're in 5, and we've 30x those contracts by continuing to delight those customers and build innovative variables. We've also had a number of prestigious awards and grants as a company, including Google for Startups Latin Founder Fund invested in us. We're a minority-owned and led company with my co-founder, Carlos. Received grants and contracts from NASA, Techstars. We're regional winner in Clean Tech Open and a national finalist for Clean Tech Open as well. This is truly the strongest team to solve this problem. We have decades of experience in this space. I'm Ulrich Soderstrom. I'm the Chief Operations Officer. I am born and raised in this region. I have degrees in data science, environmental science, University of Rochester. I was hired by McKinsey & Company to solve weather problems having to do with shipping and logistics. I also built some of the biggest pricing algorithms for the largest PBM in the country, as well as one of the largest computer companies in the country. I'm a venture partner at Marvin's Ventures. And I met Carlos, my co-founder, 9 years ago when we were introduced by scientists at NOAA because we were both working on this problem. This is not something we decided to do yesterday because AI is exciting now. Carlos, who couldn't be here today due to some family emergencies, which is sad, but he's a fantastic guy, and he's truly one of the top 5 climate machine learning scientists in the world. He's been in front of Congress multiple times this year already, talking about AI bills. He's an elected member of the AI Committee for the American Meteorological Society. He was one of the founding team members of Climate AI and Arabelle Labs, where we met to develop and try this in the hardware space. So with the investment from Grow New York, we're unlocking high-value jobs, anywhere from 8 to 3 jobs, and unlocking reoccurring revenue in the order of magnitudes of millions, depending on the investment. With that money to hire even more people. We're already working in this region. We're committed to this. A lot of this revenue unlock will have some indirect job growths as well. If we can save 50 to 100% of a farmer's yield, that applies directly to hiring new farm managers, wine reps, growers, and the like. Continues to contribute to the region. We also take a lot of University of Rochester students and other college students every semester into our company. Big thanks to Grow New York. I think in many ways we feel like we already won this competition because of the amazing regional business development period. Truly, thank you. It was incredibly valuable. We found a new application area with dairy. We're still learning a lot, but it turns out dairy cows are really weather sensitive. Based on high temperatures, they might produce more or less milk. Their feed for nutritional value is very weather sensitive. This is really interesting to us, and we've gotten some great intro conversations and introductions. This investment from Grow New York is part of a larger $3 million round. We have $2 million of committed earn-the-bank capital from some great investors like Techstars, Google for Startups, Refashion Ventures, and the like. This will take us to $13 million in recurring revenue by year 4. This is particularly from these hardware partnerships I mentioned. So for instance, one hardware partner came to us. They said, we want to offer a complete solution to our customers. We sell hardware. Hardware's hard. It's capital intensive. Margins are thin. We want a bundle. And we sell X number of sensors per year. At year current pricing, we convert 30% of our existing customers each year. And that could be $5 million in revenue each year and will allow us to expand to additional markets. Thank you.